Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 140. We're a podcast that talks about pop culture things, and sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John. I'm joined by Andrea. How's it going?
Good, good. How are you doing?
I don't even know what I just said. I just word.
Just autopiloted our intro. You're just like,
Yeah.
you know, it's been a day. It's mid-weekend. You're kind of in vacay mode, but kind of not.
There's no weekend.
There's
There's
no
no
weekend.
weekend. Yeah.
That is true once you have kids. The
Yes.
weekend is not the weekend.
Hmm. Weekend is after 9 o'clock if the kids go to sleep.
True,
So,
true.
all right. Well, tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about Shadow and Bone. We
Mhm.
started season 2 last week, discussed the first 3 episodes, and tonight we'll be covering the next 3. And then after that, I think there's just like 2 or 3 left.
2 more.
So, yeah. So we're working our way through that. We will be getting spoilery about that, and the show will be dominated by this discussion. So I hope you're following along. But we have a little bit to talk about beforehand, catch up, I guess. See
Mhm.
what we've been doing, that kind of thing, and kick it all off with drink holidays.
Yeah, yeah, we've got just a couple. About a week ago, May 6th, it was Derby Day. I did see which horse won the Kentucky Derby, and now it completely like flew out of my mind. I used to like follow that so closely as a kid. I was obsessed with horses. I thought I was going to be a jockey when I grew up. Definitely not,
Huh?
because even though I'm a
Seed
shorty
biscuit.
short at 5'5", I am too tall to be a jockey. So
Really?
yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Well,
The
okay,
average height
you're
is
not a
much
shorty
closer to
short.
5 feet. I mean,
Okay.
on
I,
average,
I feel like that's
I'm
very average.
shorter. I'm shorter, like, apparently, I think the average woman is, like, 5'7" or 5'8".
No, 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 no.
Yeah,
I disagree. That's not possible. Maybe average Caucasian woman. Definitely not average woman.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know what statistic maybe I looked up and that differentiated, but, yeah, I think the average woman is, like, 5'7" or 5'8".
Huh. I
Yeah,
don't believe.
I'm
I'm looking
definitely
up right
considered
now.
a shorty.
Average woman's height. 5'4",
No
according to
way.
Bing. Yeah. Average height of women varies around the world. In the US, the average woman is around 5'4". This is from medicalnewstoday.com. What is
So
the
in the
ideal height for a
US.
woman? That's subjective. Um, what is the normal height for a woman? I know this is not particularly relevant, and this is
Yeah, no, I'm now, like, just
so you're gonna have renewed like
I know,
you're
I'm,
gonna have a
like,
different
tall
perspective on
now. What the
life.
heck is
I
this?
know. I'm
Oh my
telling you,
gosh.
it's let's see. Yeah, I
5 foot
can. I
9
can.
inches for men? That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's what it is.
Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I'm tempted to hit let's chat and chat with the Bing AI right now,
Yeah.
but I won't
Now
do
I'm
it.
like, where did I
This
get
is
this
5'4"
statistic
according to
from?
3 sources, it says as well. So it's,
Yeah, for in the US, and then okay.
you're just used to hanging around Dana or something, you know?
Yeah, this is crazy. I did not know this. Well, okay. Well, now I'm feeling particularly especially tall. But yeah, no. So my tallness apparently extreme in terms of like, the US, um, definitely killed my dream of being a jockey because you definitely have to be closer to 5 feet. Like
Sure.
I
Yep.
think the average height is like 4'11" or something like that, which is insane. That's like a very small subset of people.
Right.
All this to say, to circle back on a very wide loop. 5-6 was Derby Day, which we celebrate by drinking the mint julep, which is a delicious drink. It was also Sauvignon Blanc Day, so you're not into cocktails, you can just have a glass of wine. I love May 7th's holidays, because they're so, like, all over the place. It was
Mhm, mhm,
Cosmopolitan Day, which, is, like, made famous by Sex and the City, and then it was beer
mhm,
pong and homebrew day, which I just feel are, like, very incongruous with each other
mhm.
and with, like, that show. So I love that, like, there's this, like, weird dichotomy happening on that day. And then today, May 13th, it is just World Cocktail Day. So I love it. Just like anything you want, whatever you
Yeah,
make, you're celebrating. Nice and
perfect.
easy.
Yep. Well, are you celebrating?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
following any of
am.
these?
I am. So I am drinking something I'm calling
Ooh.
the Sun Summoner
Oh.
because, and it's just simple. I like it. It's orange juice, champagne, and vodka.
Mhm. Okay.
It's
I
like
mean,
all the breakfasty drinks.
yeah, it's like a spike screwdriver
Mm,
or just a amped up
yep. Or like
screwdriver.
a spiked mimosa, you know?
Yeah. Mhm,
So yeah,
mhm.
so I'm combining them all together. I got a little orange peel garnish, and we're just gonna call it the Sun Summoner.
Cool. All right. Nice. I like it.
Mhm.
I don't think I saw the cocktail thing in there right away, or maybe I would have tried to do that. But I do have these to drink anyways. Maybe I've had them on the show. I don't think I've had this one on the show. Maybe I have. This is a Three Floyds. Um, I've told the story anyways about like being at our local brewery and
Yeah,
not brewery, liquor store, and like there was
yeah.
a two wheeler full of stuff. It's like, I want that. Give me that before it was checked in. So this is Three Floyds Space Castle World Ending Pilsner. So it's just chill. Um, oh, did I say speed? Yeah, it's Speed Castle. Sorry, it's a kind of funny text. Alan corrected me in the chat there. Speed
Yep.
Castle. So yeah, it's good. I'm celebrating. I figure it's like I could use this for beer pong. I guess that works in
Yeah,
the
there you
for
go.
the beer type categories. Yeah. All right. Drinks. Drinks done with. Cheers all around. How's your week been?
It has been busy, full, and, I'm glad it's the weekend of Mother's Day because
Yeah.
feels like a little bit of a break and a slowdown of appreciation, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice. Got some Mother's Day presents today from the girls and from Chris, which were very cute. Um, and one of my presents is an activity that I think we're gonna go do tomorrow, so that should be fun.
Oh, cool.
I
Nice.
don't know what it is yet. I'm not like just being coy.
Mm.
It's
Okay.
one of those like scratch off like cards, like adventures around Minnesota. So I get to go pick it, but I don't know what it is.
Ah.
So
Okay.
we'll
I don't know
see.
anything about that, but
Yeah, so
yeah.
they're like little scratch off cards that just, give you like the location, so you get like the name of a town, you kind of get like a price range. Is it an indoor outdoor activity? Is it seasonal? So that you can like kind of make a little bit of an informed decision, and then you like scratch off the center and then it says what you have to go do at that
Hmm.
particular place. So,
Like you said, yeah, I'm not trying to be coy. I
yeah.
realize lately that I'm maybe kind of on the far end of the spectrum in like the way it's like if someone offers up some information and the option then is to question further
Mhm.
or to like, well, if they want to say, they will offer the information. If you question further, you can come off as like, well, I would have said if I wanted you to know.
Right.
And if you don't say anything, it's like, well, aren't you interested? Like, don't you
Right. It's
care?
such a catch
So
22.
so this is like such a, I don't know, Minnesotan way to think or something, I think is probably what the problem is there. But I've just been realizing that recently,
Right.
stuff going on. So if I ever don't press, I'm trying not to press. That's all. It's not
It's not the
like,
disinterest.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I totally get that. Like I said, it's a catch 22. Like, you don't wanna be not interested, but you don't wanna, like, try because the person probably would have volunteered the information.
Mhm.
So, it's
Mhm.
hard.
But then the person offering the information might be like, "Well, I don't wanna just lay it all on you. You're not interested,"
Right.
like, wow, that's,
So many
you're
layers.
really
So many
millennial. Yeah,
so
yeah.
many layers of our, like, yeah, Minnesotan nice conversations that we have in our
Mhm.
heads.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, happy early Mother's Day. That's great.
Thank you. To Ashley too.
Yeah, yep. First time here. Um, Managed to get any shows done in the week?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Obviously, I watched Shadow and Bone. Fittingly, I continued in the final season of Workin' Moms. Can still not say enough about it. It's hilarious. Um, and then I just realized this. I started a K drama called She Would Never Know, which is based on a webtoon. And once I started that, I sort of started looking around Netflix. They really are developing a lot of shows based on webtoons. Like one of their big
mm,
new ones, Black Knight, is also based on a webtoon.
mhm,
They have a lot of different ones that are like romantic, you know, cute, like office workplace drama
yep,
stuff. But I think that was like the first kind of like dystopian one that I was noticing. I can't remember if All of Us Are Dead is a webtoon.
it is, yep.
Is it a webtoon or is it just available on webtoons? Like, was it developed on
Um,
webtoon? Do you know what I mean? I can't remember.
I guess I don't know where it
Okay.
originated. I guess, I
Okay.
thought it became popular on Webtoons anyways.
Okay. That would make sense. But yeah, it's crazy to me. I kind of went poking around to see if like Netflix had some sort of like exclusive deal with webtoons
Mm.
because they've been developing so much content, but I can't find anything. So, but yeah, it
Yeah,
was just
people are
interesting to
just
me.
looking it's a lot easier to tap someone else, like find someone else that's not making a ton of money, throw a
Mhm,
bunch of money at them comparatively,
mhm.
and like make a thing from that based on instead of like hiring, pre-exist like writers
Right.
with credentials and whatever to, so yeah, it's a untapped market.
Absolutely.
Was so is that's a good show then?
It is. It is a good show. It's definitely deviated from the webtoon a little bit, but I think it works because it's a different medium.
Sure.
You
Yep.
know, like
Mhm.
obviously there are some things that just aren't going to translate.
Yep. Cool.
So yeah, it's cute. And then I also randomly started The Invitation, which is a horror movie. It's also on Netflix. Probably the biggest ish name from there would be uh, I think her name is Natalie Gray. She played Missandei in Game of Thrones and Ramsey in the Fast and Furious franchise. If you're a devotee of that, like I used to be, that's where you would recognize her from.
Okay. Have you speaking of horror, have you like made any efforts or plans to see Nick Cage's movie?
Renfield,
Yeah, because I think you can
not
rent it now, I think.
you can. So that's what I'm planning to do.
Okay.
That's something I wanted uh to do potentially for Mother's Day or nearish Mother's Day with Chris is just like sit down and watch that movie.
Nice.
Um okay, I learned this not that long ago, but you can order food and popcorn from Alamo and like take it to go. And it just like blew
Oh.
my world open. So I told him I was like, "Get me the truffle popcorn from Alamo Draft House, and we're gonna, like, sit down at home and watch Renfield. That's what I want."
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ashley got a my mom gave her a gift of like some popcorn that she got at
Mm,
Shields. They make it I think they make it in Iowa or something.
okay.
It's kind of localish or whatever. And
That's cool.
she absolutely loved it. So it's just amazing. And it was and like they have a lot of different kind of mixes of flavors and stuff. And so this was
Yeah.
like a three thing mix. It's like garlic parmesan, something
Ooh,
spicy and cheddar. It was it was
Ooh, that sounds
very
great.
good. So,
I love
you're
popcorn.
looking
That's,
mhm,
like, one of my
mhm.
go-to favorite snacks.
Um, awesome. That's some good things. I
Yeah, how
have
about you?
also watched Shadow and Bone, of course. I read the latest Cyber Frog, which I have right here, and I did
Nice.
a relatively lengthy, meandering review for the channel, so that's up if you're interested in my thoughts on that. Let's see, and then the big thing this week is Zelda: Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. That came out. The
Yep.
reviews
Mhm.
are crazy good, and I'm playing it, and it's so much fun. It's hard to be a parent when this game is available to me. It's like, oh, it's feeding time now. I got to put this thing down.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, I'm having a
At
ton of
least
fun with it.
Zelda at least Zelda is a game that you could, like, play in front of them. You know what I mean? Like, they
Yeah.
could watch it and be sort of entertained by it, like, when we were doing, Res Evil
Mm,
Village, it's not something I could play in front of Evie. Like, I know she was pretty young, but I was like, she's kind of on the cusp of, like, maybe being frightened by this, so, like,
hmm.
I couldn't play when she was awake. But at least Zelda, you could, like, sort of be like, "Oh, hey, check this out."
I think I think most Zelda games really like 5 years old, maybe. I mean, like this one, in the beginning, it's pretty creepy. Like if you had a kid that was like our kids aren't aware right now, so they would
Right.
just see like colors and
Bright
shapes.
colors and yeah.
Yeah. But if they're old enough to be aware, it'd be pretty creepy, like reanimated corpse stuff and whatever. So
Oh,
a
really?
lot of the game, just running around, you'd be fine. You're in the
Yeah,
wilderness, the
that's what I
monsters
mean.
aren't too bad. But there definitely would be story moments or like moments at night or something like that would be probably creepy for
Sure.
him. So, but follow us on Twitter. I posted one little video on there. If you like haven't played Zelda at all or whatever, I plan to put a few pictures and videos and stuff up on there for fun.
Mm,
Um, I just I I don't know. I can't rave about it enough right now. I'm not very
mhm.
far in it, but it's just my kind of game. They just nail it with the kind of mood and then this game you can build a lot. You put things together, and I didn't know if I'd like that, but I'm having a lot of fun with that too. So,
Awesome.
like the creativity that this game unlocks, I didn't think that a Zelda game would really have that aspect. So, yeah. That's what we've been up to. We're going to news this week was kind of light in some ways. We'll get into probably another episode more in depth on a couple other things. Been a lot going on with like Xbox and their like poor
Mhm,
PR, if nothing else. And
mhm,
then Disney had their, a number of companies, but Disney had their quarterly earnings and stuff like that. And you know how we like to talk about streaming services and things
yeah,
on this show. So we'll probably address that someday too. But um, for now, Shadow and Bone. Let's
mhm.
jump into this. We got episodes 4 through 6 in season 2. What'd you think of these?
I liked these a lot. I thought they were great episodes for, like, really delving into the meat of the season. I feel like we finally got introduced to all of our players. Everybody's set. They have like tasks and things that they're doing. Like we have some stakes that have been set up in the first couple of episodes, and everybody finally gets to really like get into what they're gonna do. So I enjoyed these episodes because I felt like they were a little darker, a little grittier, a little more, a little more matter to these episodes. So I
Sure.
enjoyed them a lot.
Yeah, they kind of got over some of the fluff and the little kind of romancy things we were sort of talking about
Hmm.
before that maybe felt a
Hmm.
little heavy-handed at times.
Yep.
Um, I'm looking at some of my notes and still wish sometimes I add a little more context to what I'm saying so I can
Sure.
remember what. But yeah, I think overall these episodes moved pretty fast, and yeah, we started to really understand what everybody's mission was. I watched the, episode 6 just today, and I think that
Mhm.
really that one kind of, gripped me more. I took fewer notes for that because I was
Sure.
really pretty interested, so,
Yeah,
um
I actually liked episode 4 a lot because I felt like it set the tone for being darker.
mm,
We got to meet, like, the royal family. We got to kind of see each of them and how, like, spoiled and awful they are,
mm,
which was kind of fun, especially Vasily, like, the firstborn son. He was just so slimy and blah.
yeah,
Um, and then it felt so great when he just was like a complete idiot and revealed everybody's location to the Darkling, and then the Darkling like had his Nichevoya come in and literally rip Vasily in half. And I felt like that was the start of the show being like, get ready because we're gonna do some stuff that is not normally like teen broody romancy kind
mhm,
of show stuff. Like there were obviously people being ripped in half, there were multiple amputations, like, people getting stabbed, um, what else happened that I was like, "What the heck?" Oh, like, the raft of Pox bodies that were,
mm,
floating
mhm,
around in all of Kaz's memories, like, prison beatings, like, holy crap, like, this I thought the show sprinkled the use of those, like, darker elements very nicely among the storylines, and I felt like it gave some realism to these episodes.
mhm. Yeah, I can agree with that. How did he reveal the location to the Darkling? I don't remember.
Because he invited his, like, gambler friends from Karyeva who he owed money to, and they were just sort of like, "Cool, I'll give up the royal family's location."
Mm, okay, okay, missed
So,
that.
yeah. Yeah, it was a very quick, like, two-sentence thing where the queen was like, "Oh, you're Karyeva people," and Nikolai was like, "You invited them? Are you a moron?" And then,
Mhm,
yes, he was an effing moron because the Darkling showed up, like, 2 seconds later as Vasily was probably about to give the world's most boring, insufferable, arrogant speech, so
mhm, mhm.
cool that he got cut off on that. I was very cool with his character death.
Um, yeah, I'm okay not having too many characters that we have to sit and actively hate and wait for
Yeah.
their demise, you know?
Yeah, like, he was boring and gross, and then he died, and I was like, "Great, bye."
Mhm, mhm. Um, so do you one thing I thought was interesting, and it looks like they kind of patched it up later, but
Mhm.
the woman that has the eye patch now, um,
Oh,
that
Genya? Genya?
yeah, Jenya, yeah. I was surprised one that she wasn't killed. I guess is like your
Yeah.
talent is too valuable. I'm guessing
Yep.
is the thing. I'm gonna make you do what I want. And then I thought it was interesting that her boyfriend said that she sacrificed herself to save you. And it's like, is that how you read it? I read it as
Yeah.
she was caught and you ran away.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it was, like, a little bit of both. She definitely told him to, like, run,
mhm.
but I don't think
You
she was,
saw
like,
the fear in her
really
eyes.
yeah, she wasn't really intending on just, like, sacrificing herself, I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like that's very indicative of, like, a weakness, of the Darkling that up to this point, I think he's kind of, like, getting over it now, but I think he, like, pulls back at the last second because he's so desperate to convince people that, like, he's right and they should join him.
Yeah.
That's why he hadn't
Hmm.
killed Bagra for all those years. It's why he, like, couldn't quite finish off Alina, and he was sort of, like, holding out a hope that she was gonna join him. Why he couldn't kill, Genya in that moment, like, you know,
Yeah.
I think he's just so,
Makes sense.
like, "Yeah, I really just need you to see my side," and now he's like I feel like he's hit that, like, last straw where he's like, "F it. I don't
Sure.
care anymore." But, yeah.
You can have troubles with getting people to see your side if you wipe out an entire encampment like he did in the. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
that's war, but wow, was a
Yeah.
um. So I guess my biggest issue that I've been having, at least early on in this year, is I am
Mhm.
so tired of Kaz. I'm tired of
Sure.
Kaz. I'm tired of his attitude. I'm tired of the like feigning that I don't care kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, I just I've tried to find I have some comments on it somewhere, but I just think you know,
Yeah.
it's getting old.
It's tired. I agree. I also felt that way, and I think I felt that way more when he was around the other crows who all take him so seriously and like tiptoe around him.
Yeah.
I found his like stoic, reserved, like I don't care about anything demeanor very funny and worked well when he like was pretending with Nina to like be her husband and they were meeting who they thought was like the disciple. um and she's sitting there being like, come on honey, come on waffles, like, and he just looks at her like, don't you ever call me waffles again. And she's
Yeah.
like, I'll call you waffles. Like,
Mhm.
that was a very funny like this works moment because she totally undercuts like his whole like, I'm very serious and
Mhm.
I don't care about anything demeanor.
Yep.
And, the other crows just sort of, like, give that, I feel like, too much deference, and they play into it, and they only, like, kind of enable him to be more like that. So I was getting really tired of their dynamic. I completely agree. So I
I
feel
just
like it's best served in, like, small doses and
yeah.
when it's, like, against, like, a hilarious foil like Nina.
Because the idea that, like, he's gonna get all these people to follow him, I thought their plan was kinda strange, like, "I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna let him beat me up," and then, it was cold-blooded to be, like, threatened with the kid, found the kid,
Mhm.
that was well executed, but then, like, everybody's just gonna follow him and stuff, I don't know, um it's fine. I just if like, even now after episode 6, so I'm like, oh my god, his girlfriend, she's gonna wake up from this dream, she's gonna need a towel, they're gonna have to, like, talk they're gonna have to, like, talk about this, and they still, like
They still
she
don't, yeah.
now she is, like, putting up a wall there too, and so I'm just can this resolve?
Yeah.
Can we stop being so childish here? It's like, dude, you guys are into each other. Get over it. Ugh.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
I feel like I find, with this whole storyline, I like it generally in terms of, like, the crows are, like, being sent on these missions, like, these are their specialties, like, whatever. Um, so this is what they're suited for. I get it. But I find myself enjoying watching, like, Jesper or Nina or Tolia a lot more than, like, Inej or Kaz, um, just because they're, like, too serious about everything. They're too, like, guarded. It's too much
mhm,
all the time. There's no lightening up. Whereas, like, I feel like these other people have balance between, like, I have funny light moments, but then also I care deeply about something. Like, Nina
mhm,
obviously cares about getting, um, Matthias, I can't remember, out of Hellgate. Like, Tolia
mhm.
cares about, completing the mission, and, he cares about his country of Shuhan, but he also cares about his sister. But then, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go find a snack." Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
recite some
yeah,
epic poetry and then be mad at y'all in a funny way when you don't care about
yeah,
my poetry. Like, they
right,
have sides.
yeah,
Inej and Kaz feel intense all the time, and we have no breaks
right,
from that.
yep, that's true. Another thing that I thought really was cool,
Mhm.
interesting, was we really sort of explored the connection now, um, that we have in the Darkling's hand and stuff, and how
Yeah.
they can kind of invade each other's space.
Mhm.
And I made this like maybe I'm reaching my like comparison here. That is, this is what I wrote here. I feel like this is author is having gone through a divorce and is grappling with the guilt of having so much in the aftermath. I have all this. He made me. Can I stand on my own? Was any of it thanks to me? I had meaning. What now?
Mm,
Even after you maybe built your own career or something, you still grapple with the thought that you did it because of him.
sure.
Because it really was like an interesting character moment, I thought, where it was I didn't see that, like, that she has a guilt that, he is part of me. I'm here because of him. And so,
Mm,
like, that's
sure.
part of the connection that she's still holding on to. Because I forgot
Mhm.
who someone was questioning her, like, "You gotta be honest with me here. Like, what do why do you have this? Like, why can't," and she feels like her power isn't her own, you
Yeah, I
know?
think Bagra was doing
And
that because I wrote Bagra's a great therapist, and I think that's
yeah.
the scene. Yeah.
So I liked that twist. I thought that was interesting. I thought it could be relatable when a lot of things might be more shallow and wouldn't consider that
Yeah.
as a realistic personal reaction to, the situation you've been in. She did go
Mhm.
through a lot with him. She was, falling for him, and she was, all this stuff. She was like tutored by him and all this, and her
Yeah.
life completely changed with him. And then the betrayal, and now it's all different, and it feels different, and it's wrong and whatever. So
Mhm. Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective, because, yeah, Alina really questions, like, what even motives are her own? What is hers? What are her, like, original
yeah.
thoughts and ideas? Which I think was really needed because in episode 4, both Mal and David point out that so much of her plans are just, like, copying what the Darkling is doing.
Mm,
Like, she's like, "Oh, I have to learn the cut," and they're like, "Don't learn the cut, that's his thing." And then she's like, "Oh, I have to create a shadow army or an army of light to counter his shadow," and they're like, "Don't do that, like, that's his thing." So
mhm.
all of her plans and things are just, like, thinking like he does, and finally Bagra's like, "What is your deal? Like, let it out." Like, and she's like, "I
Yeah.
don't know who I am. I don't know what my original thoughts are." So yeah,
Yeah.
it's really hard when you're so closely tied with someone and then you know, literally or metaphorically go through a divorce with them and it's like, what is mine?
Yeah.
What was ours? What was his? What's mine?
Yeah. Yep. So I like that moment,
Yeah,
and
I
that
agree.
I was, you know, don't know if I was like super fan of the kind of fight with the tracker and stuff, but she's like, he never walked away from me like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But but obviously there was going to be tension. He's, not around. He doesn't know what's going on. She's marrying off. So it's going to come to a head in some way. What do you think of that kind of their relationship and stuff like that and how that all progressed?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little, like, back to our teeny bopper drama for, like, a half minute. Just like you said, the way she was like, "He's never left me like that," and he was, like, angry, and I was sort of like, "I'm actually really glad that he's angry." Like, he needed some spine, he
Hmm.
needed backbone. Um, so I thought it served, like, the drama well to, like, at least have him be like, "Man, you're just, like, doing all this stuff, and you're just, like, not even acknowledging me, you're not even letting me keep up, and you're, like, pretending that I'm, just fine with all of it, and I can't be
Right.
just fine with all of it." So that was actually a really, I thought, a great moment, even though I felt like she ended up reacting afterwards to Nikolai like she was some sort of, like, whiny teen, which
Mm,
which brought the show back just, like, a teensy bit, um but ultimately kind of ended up being okay because I felt like it solidified their friendship rather than their, like, need to have them be romantic. Do
sure.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
Alina and Nikolai. I was very excited that they were having a lot of moments that were very like, "We are friends. Let's be friendly."
Yep. Um, how do you feel about like all the people being sort of accepted back? Like, hey, you're safe here and stuff like that. And we'll promise now, like Genya and everything. And so they're,
Yeah.
because obviously, like, So sure, the circumstances to a lot of this stuff, but you were, you know, against us here, and now we're going to, be all buddy buddy and give you protection and stuff. Does that sit well with everyone? How'd you think that played out?
Yeah, I mean, I was really there for, like, Bagra and Jenya, like, I called them the rage and revenge duo. I was very there for that pairing, and I was very there for them, like, just effing Kieran on the way out by destroying all of his work, all of his as you call him, his simps work.
Yeah.
Um, and then just, like, being like, "Yep, we're gonna go, bye, like, gonna help everybody else figure out how to kill you." So I was very there for that. I did think it was interesting that, like, Alina and Nikolai trusted everybody. Like, even though in episode 4 they sort of pretended, like, to be standoffish with David, they let him out almost immediately, like, after the whole
Mm-hmm.
Kieran attacks thing, and it's like, did you not even consider that, like, David could've I mean, I know we as the
Yeah.
audience know he didn't, but
Right.
did you, I mean, even consider that, like, it could have been him who betrayed you,
Yep.
and betrayed your location? So it was just it
Yeah.
was a little interesting that they sort of skip over that, rush immediately to, like, we're just gonna mend fences, like, we have a common enemy,
Yeah.
we're all just gonna simply trust each other.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, a little bit of a blind spot, but I think they move the plot line of what they have to do so quickly that you just sort of have to, like, get on board with it.
Hmm. Yeah. Like ultimately, I don't feel like it's a big deal, but it feels a little simplistic, a little
Yeah,
unrealistic, a little naive or something that it just
yeah,
probably doesn't not how things would go. Even if you like let someone have safe passage, you like let someone go, whatever, but they like to just welcome them in, be part of the war council, like that's all,
right.
it's a little much so quick. But um okay, the worst part in these three episodes that I can
I
think of,
agree. I agree.
the
I already know where
the
you're going, and I
seduction
agree.
attempt.
Ugh,
Ah,
yeah,
no one like
painful.
like, I thought it was acted well. I'm not saying, like, the acting was bad or something like that. It just, like, I don't know how you could possibly think how you last interacted now to this, that in any way, whatever you do is believable.
Yep,
Unless you, like, are pretending, you, like, are on some sort of drug. It's
yes,
like, you're eating mushrooms and then you
yep.
give 'em the Darkling a call, late at night, and, it's like,
Late night
"I don't
X
know, I
text.
miss
"Oh,
you."
no, I miss
Yeah.
you." Yeah, so I felt like with this was jumping the gun on, like, several interactions that they needed to have.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
They
Like,
could have got there.
yes, they absolutely could have gotten here, but not the first time you make a mental connection post, like you said, post this, like, battle where they were both
Yeah.
like, "Fine, like, I'm gonna kick
Mhm.
your ass." And then she's like, "Oh, I realized that, like, you're special and I'm special." No, no.
And he's
Like,
hundreds of years old. He's not
right,
falling for this for a second.
right.
What do you
Like,
like
despite what I said earlier about his obvious need to, like, have acceptance and, like, have people see his side, I totally feel like he would be susceptible to this. This would work, but like I said, several interactions down the road, not the
Mhm.
first one.
It could have been really interesting, and I probably painful too, but it would have been really interesting to see, um, tracker guy goes away. He's, like,
Mal,
upset
yep,
at this whole thing. Yeah, he's upset at this whole thing that she agreed to do this marriage and all this stuff, and then, like, maybe have Nikolai, really
mhm,
preoccupied and busy. So he has like no time
right,
for him. And so she's just feeling alone. Whatever. And so,
right.
like, even though she's totally still against how he's doing stuff, he gets like,
There's
starts
like
to
a pull there,
empathize with that he wants to, he thinks he's doing the right thing. So they
right,
spend time trying to like kind of consoling each other that like shit is really tough for both of
mhm,
us, but then like trying to convince each other that we're right, like, and so if you had like three of those
right,
and then this,
right.
but I mean, this show's moving fast, so we
Yes.
didn't have time for that, and, so I feel
Yeah.
like they just need to skip this. They need this, like, she coulda gotten close some other way,
Right.
other
Like
like
the her reaching out to him, wasn't a bad strategy move, and she
mhm,
could have said like a million other things, like you said, to get closer to him, and he could have allowed her to do so, while trying to like convince her of his way of thinking, like the seduction attempt, like the turning it like I'm romantically interested and gonna just
mhm,
like, you know, pretend like I'm coming on to you. That's the part that was like, "Oh, geez, this is
mhm.
just too far."
Maybe if she took her top off and she just, like, he's so transfixed or something like that, it was just like, I don't know, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I agree.
Let's see. Um, Anything else that you can think of for sure that we wanna address in 4 and 5 before we move on to 6, episode 6?
Yeah. So, I wanna address, like, 2 quick things. One, I am super already over the prison storyline. Like Pekka
Mm,
Rollins, our main guy who gets bested by Kaz, goes to prison, and I sort of was like, I could see the end of him. Thank you.
yeah,
Like that storyline was
yes.
was cool, served its purpose. Bye now. But I feel like they're keeping it alive to keep the connection to Matthias, I can't remember, um,
I think
and
it's
have
Matthias.
something. Okay, I think they're trying to have something there, and I just don't need it. I just don't need that storyline. I don't care about it. I care about it in the sense of like that's Nina's reason for doing what she's doing, but I'm far more interested in her than I am spending time in prison.
Yeah. Do we need any reason to spend time in prison? Or
No.
can we just be satisfied with like, "Hey, my love is in prison. That's my goal. I'm trying to go get
That's
him."
that's all I need. And like the scenes I've already seen with him, that's all I needed. Like the
Mhm.
two like, oh my gosh, he's now being put in prison fights, so he's in very real danger. So that's why Nina needs to get him out. They had a
Yep.
moment where they saw each other and there was like, connection, but like disconnection there too. That's all I
Yeah.
needed until like the next time she actually physically goes to see him. I
I
don't
agree
need I don't
because
need to do anything there.
we can fill in the gaps then of things that have happened to him
Exactly.
since being he's been thrown in
Exactly.
these fights. Maybe he's lost appendages or he's extra scarred up or like
Right.
whatever, he's more grizzled. It's like maybe formed a strong bond with his roommate or something like that. But
Yep.
now, um, now they're setting up the whole idea that we're gonna have this confrontation. Pecker Rollins, for some reason, is gonna be able to run the prison.
Yep.
I'm like, he beats up some little guy,
Right.
like nobody in the prison, and now everybody's just gonna fall in line with
Right.
him. If
Right.
that's what happens, and now we have to have our one guy, whatever, like take on that and deal with the oppression of whatever larger crime
Yep.
syndicate that gets built in prison. Not interested.
No. Stupid, takes away focus that you could be spending on other storylines. Like, hey, maybe take that time and do like those, bridging connections between Alina and the Darkling so that when she gets to her
Yeah.
seduction one, it makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. Pekka Rollins goes in there and like 20 guys are like, hey, 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 Pekka Rollins is in here. Like, we're gonna get him.
Yeah.
He beats up one guy and they're all like, cool, leader. Like
Yeah.
those 20 guys who were like, I hate Pekka Rollins, just jumped him. Bye.
Yeah. Yep. He's got nothing
He
on
has
him right
nobody
now.
in there. He has
Yeah.
nobody in there. So yeah, that was
Does he have anyone on the outside? He lost his people and his clubs,
yep.
and, like, he's got nothing, right? I mean, it's just
Yeah.
no. If
So
they
that whole
wanna yeah.
yeah, that whole storyline to me was just like unnecessary and unbelievable.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
really hope it's very minimal in the episodes to come. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention is just Bagra. Can't mention her enough. She's
Mm.
awesome. She just like every opportunity, just cutting down Kiergan. He like tries to bring her a sweet, and she's like, Yeah, I'm totally just gonna betray all my ideals for some warm fruit. Ugh, just just makes him look so stupid. I love it. And then she, breaks her own hands so that she and
Yeah.
Jenya can get out of prison.
Mhm.
Dang. Like, comes in and just like whips Nikolai into shape, whips Alina into shape. She's like, "Here, let me quick be your therapist. Like, let's move on this." You know,
Yeah.
just coming in hot. Like,
Yeah.
she's a doer, and I love it.
Yep. Nice. Okay, episode 6,
Yep.
our gang, the Crows and company are caught in a prison thing. Um I'm not sure we needed the fight between Gunslinger and his boyfriend.
No,
That seemed a little shallow and like wasting time as well. It's like,
I agree.
okay, you can't read, like whatever, don't be so butthurt about it. Like that's it's just an unnecessary excuse to have some conflict between the two that we just
So
didn't
they can
need.
reunite at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like whatever,
I agree.
Um and but like a lot of the rest of the episode, I really liked. I thought the fight ended up being pretty cool.
I
Um,
agree.
that was pretty well done. Um, I was like, why is this woman so powerful?
Yes,
But then we
I
kind of
agree.
get the
I was like, "Man, she's
explanation
making
there.
them look silly." And then
Yeah,
finally, yeah, we got to, like, she's Nayar, and I was like,
yeah,
"Okay, cool, got it." But yeah, it was a cool fight.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty well done. Um, we had lots of visions, some real, like I
Mhm.
say, ayahuasca kind of, crazy trips. And we got to see, I think I liked Gunslingers the best. We really
Jesper,
didn't
yeah.
have Yeah, we really didn't have much of anything on him up till now. Like there's a little bit more of his past, so I thought that was good.
Mhm.
Um I again could care less about Kaz's. It's just like whole another like angry
Yeah.
guilt blah thing. Um what'd you think of the visions?
I thought it was fun that some of them, like I said, some of them were, like, good and some of them were bad. So it's interesting
Mhm.
that the poison affected them in, like, different ways. Like, not everybody was just sort of trapped in some sort of weird nightmare scenario
Right.
like Kaz and Tolia were. Um, like, Inej was obviously, like, able to wake herself up because she was like, "This is too good. This is everything I want. Like, mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm." Um, and, Jesper was like, "Oh, I get to see my mom again. Like, I would stay here in this, like, vision." So it was very, very different for different people. So I thought that was
Mhm.
interesting that we could, like, get a balance of, like, nightmares and dreams.
Yeah. Yep. It really did
Although
bother
eating the
me.
butterfly to cure that was gross as shit. I could not put, like, a
Ye
live flapping insect in my mouth.
I mean, if
Bah.
you were dying
I mean,
if you were dying,
maybe, yeah, obviously, like, I don't
well,
actually
I
know what
would
it's like
force it
to
down your throat, Andrea, if you were dying.
Thank you,
It's, like,
thank you.
going down your throat.
You'd be the Inej in this scenario, just, like, holding it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'd really have to be on the brink of death to just well,
Yep. Um, yeah, that's, like, a major oversight, I guess, that your poison is developed from the thing right outside. I guess that makes sense, and then I mean, you
yeah,
wouldn't
because I
think
mean,
that
you're not really
someone would.
expecting someone to stay
Yeah.
outside or to know
Mhm.
about that. Like, obviously,
Right.
like, Wyland's, luckily, wildly, conveniently knowledgeable about all of this.
Yeah.
But
Community knowledgeable and then similarly inept. He's like he
yes.
hears they're say we're dying inside. He's like,
And he's
"Anyone
like,
there?
"Ooh."
Anyone there?" It's like,
Yeah,
"No, they're dying. Like, get them
right,
out, like, use
right.
more
Figure this shit out,
explosives,
yeah.
whatever you can do. Like, get a
Yeah, he has
branch
that,
and,
like,
like,
one trick, and then he's just like, "Oh, no, it didn't quite work out, like, I could smash some glass, but I can't get in."
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Like, smash more
but it
glass, let
worked
the
out.
poison out. Like,
Mhm.
let them
Yeah.
breathe the
That's
air.
what I was thinking. Yeah, like, go put
Yeah,
your face up to it and, like, yeah.
yeah.
So many things. Yeah, so cool fight. Then afterwards, we had kind of, a little like, I don't know, sort of monologuing, I guess, or like it's a moment to disperse like thoughts of our connections, strength
Mhm.
versus weaknesses. I don't know if that's particularly anything unique there, but did any of our characters learn anything or grow from this? You know, Jesper obviously is like, okay, I should use my abilities. I think that's
Right.
the big thing we got out of this is like, okay, maybe I'll not waste my potential.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. Obviously, we got less significant, like Kaz and Inej are just like clearly never going to be on the same page with each other.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, Jesper was our like one sort of like I'm going to move forward and like not waste my time. Um, and I feel like it was interesting that we never really addressed like Tolia, like and his vision of like I killed my own sister and like killed everybody
Mm.
around me. There was no
Hmm.
like moment for him, but there was a moment for like Nina and Zoya, who are kind of like secondary characters, and they get this sort of
Sure.
like, I mean, they do kind of encapsulate, I think one of the main like pulls in opposite directions for Alina and several other characters. It's like, am I pulled by love or am I pulled by Ravka? Love of
Hmm.
country, like love
Yeah.
of person or love of country. And that comes into conflict with her and Mal like all the time because she's so focused on like, I'm gonna heal Ravka. And he's like, why though? Like this is a lot.
Yep.
So it was
Yep.
interesting, but not necessarily moving anybody forward except for Jesper.
Yep. And then the final thing we really should talk about, obviously, is the big
Yeah.
whole like,
Big, big, big.
yeah, another confrontation with the Darkling. We got the who the Firebird, not what or where, but who the Firebird is. That was
Yeah.
a big twist. It makes sense. I like it because it makes sense. Things
Mhm.
fell into place. Things we maybe had questions of.
Yeah,
That
why
fits
Mal has
now
such
that we
like
know.
crazy tracking abilities.
Yeah, for like certain things even,
Yep.
so yeah, big reveal. I liked it. Didn't see it coming.
Yeah, yeah. It was another, I felt like for me, fun moment for Bagra just to be like, I'm just gonna like plow ahead and reveal 6 different things, but it fits because her character is so just like, I'm like 6 steps ahead of everybody. Everybody else just needs to like
Right.
catch up and do the thing. So it didn't feel rushed because she was just like, let me just tell you how it is. Let me tell you my family
Mhm.
history, lay it all down so that when I tell you, Mel, you're the Firebird because of this whole like crazy story about me killing my sister, it's gonna make sense.
Mhm.
Um, but then she just like plows forward again and she's like, cool, I'm gonna go confront my son. Also, you should probably die so that Alina can save
Yeah.
Ravka. Peace out. See you later.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty
There's just so
badass, but
much.
it was a lot. Yes.
It was. It
I
was.
mean, like, it's cool that she's both, you know, constantly kind of surprises him that she's as capable as she is, and then, um, I guess his guard gets let down a little bit, being it's his mom, and that
Yeah.
she's, like, able to, like, force her way in and, say that she's sorry, but then at the same time, chop his hand off and sever
Oh
the
god.
connection. It's like,
So
"Ooh,
badass.
that's" you know, nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it's like that was the point, it's like, I've
Mhm.
lived a long time. I've served my purpose. I've told people what they need to know. Like, I feel remorse for my son, and there's nothing I can do about that. I'm gonna give these people the best chance I can. I'm gonna go in there and chop his hand off, like,
Right. And, like,
so
these people don't need to be stuck in the past with all of, like, this, Morozova family mistakes, so let's just, like, burn it all down so they can start anew. I liked that.
sure.
We don't need to live here, like, all of this can just be done and die with me.
Mhm. Now, um, I was half expecting Mao to grab Alina's hand, like, when they're hugging, like,
Oh, yeah.
grab her hand,
And
put a
just
dagger in it, and stab himself.
yeah.
Like, I was waiting for that. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to figure out, like, what they're gonna do, but it was nice that they at least got a moment to, like, say goodbye to each other, essentially.
Mhm. Right. Hmm. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen there. I'm very interested. Definitely cliffhanger,
Mhm.
like, how's this gonna go
Yeah, it was
down?
like a slow
It's
cliffhanger this time,
Mhm. Yeah, because
like, it
then they
wasn't like
got
an
back
action
to the camp
cliffhanger.
and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it
you
was just like,
yeah.
we have a lot of different things to do. Everybody else is like, focused on the action. Like Nikolai is like, I'm gonna go do this. You're gonna track the Firebird. We have plans. Like the Darkling's
Yep.
alive. I'm gonna get him. And they were like, Mal really is like the one who's like, let's take a beat because nobody needs to go get
Mhm.
the Firebird. I'm right here.
Yeah, yep. Well, the question now is gonna be,
What do they
do
do?
they, like, get find the fortitude and think that's the right decision
Mhm,
to, like, have, uh to kill him and take him as an amplifier like that
mhm,
before the Darkling gets to him, because the Darkling
right,
knows, so now, time's a ticking. I
right,
maybe it's, ridiculous, maybe it's a too easy way out, but it's like, okay, they're gonna have sex. I mean, you're gonna become one of her, one with her in a
right.
way, so
I know, I was
maybe
sort of thinking that
that's a
too.
thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I sort of was wondering if there was gonna be some sort of workaround in that sense.
Mhm. Will
Um,
we be okay with that? If it's something like
I
that?
wouldn't I
Okay,
wouldn't. We'd be too happy. If
okay.
there's some sort of, like, painful way that they're joined, but he doesn't have to die, I would sort of be more okay with that. But, like, this adorable, like, "We're gonna have sex and I'm gonna become a part of you so that way I can be the no. No,
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
too happy. It's too rosy, I think, of a solution.
Yeah, mhm. As long as we hold hands when I'm using my power,
Right.
you can amplify me.
As long as
I
I
don't
give
know.
you a great big hug
Mhm.
and you hold on to me like I'm part of you. No.
But, like, she drinks his blood, something like that,
Mm,
you know?
like
I don't know.
vampiric over here. I don't know.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, I did also feel like with the Darkling finding that out and like his simp being like, um, you know, you're gonna see your mom's last memories as, you become an amplifier,
Yeah.
which I didn't quite get because I mean, I feel like the whole setup has been like you have to take somebody's life for them to be an amplifier,
Mm.
and, like, the guy was like, "I'm gonna save pieces of her to, like, send off to other people to be amplifiers," and I was like, "Wait a minute, they'd
Mm.
all have to take her life." Anyway, setting that aside, he was like, "Oh, like, look at her last memories, they might bring you peace," and I was like, "Come on, dude. Have you been here for
Yeah.
any of this?" She would
Yeah.
never be like, "I really wanna give Alexander some last peaceful memories." She would totally be
Yeah.
like, "I'm gonna just, like, twist that knife in there."
I
So
don't know. She was apologetic at the end,
She
failed him in
was
some way,
she was,
so
but I very clearly feel like she wants him to fail in his quest, and so she would be
right,
like, "Let me show you the things that are gonna, like, make you fail,
right,
because I wish that you were saved. I'm sorry that I couldn't save you, but, like, I'm also not just gonna be like, because I'm sorry, you should probably, unleash the
right.
fold."
Yep. All right. That is, Shadow and Bone, season
Mhm.
2, episodes 4 through 6. Likely next week we'll wrap up. We'll
Yep,
finish
penultimate
off
and
the
ultimate.
season. Yeah, gonna try to get hopefully his internet's working okay and stuff. We're gonna try to get Pete on the show because I know he's
Great.
watched it,
Yeah.
and he talked about the first season with us, so we
Mhm.
can, yeah, hopefully have him back on the show to discuss. And in the
Excellent.
meantime, everybody should make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, wherever all the social media things, podcast services. If you listen in podcast form, Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever, we are on video format as well on Spotify. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It'd be appreciated. Killing the Flower. They wrote our theme song, so you should check them out on music streaming services and YouTube and Instagram. And so we thank them for the song. MJ Honeybee, she is a friend that streams on Twitch, often
Mhm.
streaming Dead by Daylight. So you should make sure to check her out. And it's 2 days from now. So Monday night be the plan to have our anime episode again, covering the latest episode of Demon Slayer that will come out tomorrow, Sunday, Mother's Day. So yeah, Monday evening, about 9 o'clock Central Time. Tune in for that. So that'll do it from us. Andrea, thanks once again for joining me.
Of course. As always, cheers, everybody.